Hello and welcome to the Cardiac Cats YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jacob Shorba, and we've got a late night video as the Jacksonville Jaguars have just made what is a very surprising trade, I will say. When you consider things schematically and when you consider the contract side of things here, we're going to get into that. But the Jacksonville Jaguars have traded Tyson Campbell and the Eagles' 2026 7th round pick to the Browns in return for cornerback Greg Newsome, who we've talked about on this channel specifically last year, and the Jets' 2026 6th round pick. So, really shocking trade here, and I want to get into why I feel that way. And I think there's some good and bad here. I think the good specifically is that the Tyson Campbell extension and the way he's performed, I don't think it's been good enough. I think you're always kind of left wanting more most of the time when most of the time when you notice Tyson Campbell on the field, it's disappointing. But that's also normal for cornerbacks, right? You're not always going to notice them when they're locking someone down. So, factor that in, of course. But it's surprising to me that they're able to get off this contract, given that they are still paying a noticeable amount of his extension. I think it's going to fall somewhere between $20 to $30 million against the cap over the 2024 season to 2026, when the final dead cap hits will come in. On the flip side of this, the Jaguars are bringing in Greg Newsome, who we'll see how much of his fifth-year option the Jaguars are on the hook for, as it was around $13 million that he was going to get paid this year, straight up base salary. But Greg Newsome, looking at him specifically, this year performing pretty well. He's got good grades across the board. Someone I've watched before. What is really interesting is that Greg Newsome is mostly seen as a man coverage press type of cornerback. And to my understanding, at least based off the numbers, Jacksonville has run a lot of zone. Now, we'll take a look at this. We'll compare this to Tyson Campbell, who this year performing a little below average when you talk about his coverage specifically. This isn't what you want to see at all. It's not good enough for the type of player you expect him to be. He has been a very good run defender, to be fair. And in terms of Greg Newsome, one of the things he has struggled with, although he's grading out well this year, is run defense. So I think that is an area where you do downgrade in this trade. This is where it gets interesting. So we look at the coverage scheme. This is looking at the Jaguars and the Browns players this year. Cleveland has had Greg Newsome in man coverage 40% of the time. And this is one of the higher numbers you're going to find in the NFL. You look at the Jacksonville players, all at the bottom here, right? You're talking about 15 to 20%. So you're putting Newsome in a scheme where he is going to be in way more situations as a zone coverage corner. Given most of the time on most teams, you're in zone coverage or considered that at least. Now, it is worth noting, and these grades are always going to be lower for man coverage. It's more difficult. He does grade lower in man coverage than zone. So that is something that perhaps will make you feel good about this trade. But he is mainly seen as a man coverage cornerback. Now, that isn't to say he can't play zone. That isn't to say this is some terrible trade. Greg Newsome is going to come in with a lot of versatility. He's got a lot of experience playing outside and in the slot. He gives you someone for this year that can be effective for this team, that can still be a good starter. And then next year, he's going to hit free agency. And if you don't go spend big, which I would prefer this team doesn't go spend big. I prefer we build through the draft, and I think we've got quite a few pieces here already. You would probably get a good comp pick back for Greg Newsome, given the fact that, hey, the Browns accepted a fifth-year option worth $13 million. If he gets paid something more than that, which he very much could if he succeeds with Jacksonville, now you're looking at a third or fourth round pick coming back to this team. So that's kind of the long-term look at this. I'm not sure if this is a move where Newsome's going to be a player that sticks around past this year. That'll be the interesting side of this. But the big thing to me is I think you have a lot of nice pieces in the secondary right now. I think you're very well set up at cornerback to where you don't have to have a Tyson Campbell out there. You're getting Travis Hunter out there more. He's been great for you on defense. You have Jarion Jones, who I think is a good cornerback. He's a very good draft pick for this team. He can make it out on the field more. Jordan Lewis has played very well for this team. He's been phenomenal. So you have 3 guys, and then Monteric Brown, who when he's come in, has also done a great job. So it's 4 guys really in that cornerback room after getting rid of Tyson Campbell, and you're also bringing in Greg Newsome on top of that, make it 5. So you can make this move, and this frees up a lot of money in the future. Yes, you're probably going to have a pretty big cap hit next year, taking on the rest of that signing bonus from Tyson Campbell's contract, but it's worth it, right? All that matters at the end of the day is how much money you're actually going to have against the cap. Overall, whatever years it's put on, it's put on. And this gets the Jaguars to have a contract that was an overpay. It was, I think, the wrong decision, unfortunately, at the end of the day. And for the Browns, good thing for them, they bring in a player that, hey, he's going to be cheap this year. Next year, he'll go up and cost a little bit. Those guarantees are going to run out eventually. And that's why it makes sense for them to make this kind of deal. So, that's the trade here. A little bit of a shocker. I think for me, the reason it's shocking, it isn't because Tyson Campbell was a tradable asset. I think he absolutely was. I think a team would have given something up for him, given the upside and given his best moments. I am just surprised at the player we acquired, also considering that I felt like, hey, we probably have enough pieces still in the secondary. We could take a nice draft pick out of this instead. But hey, at the end of the day, Greg Newsome's still a good cornerback. He's a good player. And while he may not make the most sense schematically, he can go prove us wrong, and he'll probably be fine for this team and be a nice piece in that secondary. So there you go. Surprising news tonight, but another Jaguars-Browns trade has taken place, and the Jaguars will have better standing in the 2026 draft as well, given this is going to be one of the last picks they're giving up, and they're getting an early 6th-round pick as the Jets are the only winless team left. God rest their souls. Feel terrible for the Jets fan base. But that's a whole other thing. So with that all said, we're going to wrap this up. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll have more videos out as the season goes on, at least one a week for game recaps. We'll have videos out for news going on. We'll probably have some things the team could do. We'll have the trade deadline coming up soon. We'll probably talk about some players there. But appreciate y'all watching. Want to shout out our channel members, Gator John Bites, Ichi Wiener, the FTX Smoke Eater, Mr. Dolphin, Brian Foster, and Frangies. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your night. And finally, go Jags.